semifinals of Money Car Eliminator. You are looking as the two cars back up after their burnout. The Western Auto Slick 50 Dodge, driven by Al Hoffman. Al's best effort in round number 2 was not enough. He did not earn the lane choice with a 5.20 second elapsed time. That distinction and honor went to his opponent, Chuck Etchell. Etchell's at the wheel of the Kendall GT1 Dodge. Needs a jump start for his season, and this race at Houston may just provide it. He had a great 5.18. Two very tough teams, and now one of these drivers is going to make a major leap in the Winston points chase by making it to the finals of this Slick 50 National. The two lanes appear to be relatively equal, as we saw in Top Fuel, when you can run a 474 and a 478 on the same race. Only 0.04 of a second difference, and both cars hooked up. That means the lane choice may not be as critical as it is at other events. Problems for Chuck Etchell's right before the finish line. The supercharger drive belt came off, and Al Hoffman got the break of 5.20 at 289 miles an hour. Vaults him into the finals.
This man just went in the finals. You should be smiling.
Yeah, we are. It's a Western Auto Slick 50 race, and we're a Western Auto Slick 50 car, and we love it.
520 going to be good enough to win?
It's hard to tell. We've still got a problem down there with it spinning the tires. We put a new BDS blower on at that time, and it was a little stout, I think, so we have to calm it down a little bit.
2 finals in the first 3 races. Good start for the Dodge Daytona.
And that good start is just enough to put Al Hoffman into the lead in the Winston points chase based upon this win over Chuck Etchell's in round number 2. As we look in replay, watch Etchell's car in the far lane at about the 1,000-foot mark. You'll see a lot of raw fuel start to come out of the header pipe. That indicates a problem with the engine. And you may even get to see the supercharger drive belt snake its way from underneath the car, indicating that Etchell's had lost power at that point. There's lots of power here, though, some 5,000 estimated, as Mike Clover lowers the body down over Jim Epler. But Clover admits readily that they don't have a handle on getting the power to the ground. The only reason Jim Epler is here in the semifinals with the Rug Doctor Oldsmobile is that every opponent leading up to this point has red-lighted against him. Here in the semifinals, he is racing Gary Densham, and this could be a fairly good race because neither driver has been exceptional in terms of elapsed time. The bigger problem has got to be Epler's. He has not made a good, solid pass down the racetrack. Densham had qualified well, but during elimination, his performance has fallen off as well. But we're not enough that Mike Clover's got to worry about getting all of that horsepower to the ground on Epler's car. He's also got to be wondering, when is this string of good fortune going to spool off the reel and come to a halt? For Gary Densham, a bit unusual to see him in the semifinals. Not a criticism at all of his effort or his performance, but without the major sponsorship, it is difficult indeed to make it to the Final Four. It is definitely a tribute to the tenacity of Densham that we see him here in Houston over the last 18 months. He has had several devastating fires that destroyed the body on the race car, but he came out of it unscathed, has always been able to repair, and now wants to stop Jim Epler. Another red light. Gary Densham moved too soon. Jim Epler shuts it off. And Ripley would love this one. Believe it or not, 3 straight red lights put Jim Epler in the finals. Bob?
I think there's the numbers you guys were looking for. Yeah, red light was nice. I like that. That part was real good. I've got a real serious problem with the car. I can't figure it out. Mike, you guys both ran in the left lane in that round. Both you and, of course, Hoffman. Is lane choice a factor in the final? No, I don't think so. The track is usually real good here. The sun's gone down, and I think it'll be the best car will win the final round. We'll have to really stand on the gas and figure out why he's having to shut it off out there at 3/4 track. We keep having problems, and got to get a computer rating this time. We'll let you go figure it out, Mike.
Now, that's a rarity, an honest man. He says, I don't know what's wrong. Gary Ditcham red lights away his shot at Jim Epler, and with a 6:18, the Rug Dr. Oldsmobile marches into the finals, thoroughly outclassed on paper by Al Hoffman's 5:20. But remember this, both these cars have been over 300.
You have made another withdrawal from the Drag Racing Luck Bank. Are you overdrawn?
Well, you know, this happened to me last year at Phoenix, and I think I used up my luck for about 3/4 of the year, so I hope not. You know, we got one more run, had a burst panel go second round, then we lost a blower about this round. I mean, I can't even get the tune-up right now.
And now you got Al Hoffman.
Yeah, I think he's on a roll right now, but this Rug Dr. Oldsmobile, I think we'll step her up for the final.
Hoffman might be working with the practice tree just a bit. With Epler's luck, it could be 4 in a row. Back at the pits, the big number 1 tells it all. That is Warren Johnson, the reigning Winston champion. He is getting ready to race for the title in Pro Stock Eliminator and remembering when his opponent, Scott Jeffrey, worked for him. Better known as Houston Raceway Park in the Slick 50 Nationals, Oldsmobile in Dodge in the finals of Pro Stock Eliminator. The reigning Winston champ, Warren Johnson, doing an aggressive burnout with his GM Performance Parts Cutlass. In the opposite lane, Scott Jeffrey, who used to drive one of the Johnson team cars a couple of years ago, is at the wheel of the Mopar Parts Dodge Daytona. Jeffrey winner 2 weeks ago in Phoenix, Arizona, when he beat his teammate Darrell Alderman, has been psyching himself up for this confrontation. Earlier, Steve had a chance to take a look at the future.
Dave, you and everyone at home will be the first to see the new Dodge Avenger Pro Stock that will replace the Dodge Daytonas by about mid-season. Scott Jeffrey, they're beautiful.
Oh, they sure are. You know, Chrysler's put together one fine-looking car here. It's going to make a heck of a race car. Me and Darrell are just salivating, waiting to get inside one of these race cars.
A long deck on it.
Oh, it's got a long deck on it, and the most important thing is it's 105 inches versus 99 inches, and it's a little bit wider, but yet it's just as slippery in the wind tunnel. Actually, it's a little slipperier in a wind tunnel, so come mid-season, you're going to see 2 more excited guys over here.
Win on Sunday, sell on Monday.
That's the way it goes.
And, of course, the 99-inch wheelbase he's referring to is the length of the wheelbase on the Daytona he is currently driving. Both cars in the pre-stage beams. They are just sitting there. And they continue to sit there. Buster Couch, the starter for NHRA, looking on. You see the cars just basically are idling. No high RPM. Buster looking and making no move yet. Shaking his head a little bit. And now Buster Couch starts to move forward. What's he going to tell him? He'll put him in the beams, I would guess. Yes, that's the indication to stage the race car. The lights at the top of the tree tell the story. Nobody is moving. Scott Jeffrey wants some respect. Now Buster is walking out. They can't use the excuse, and he's backing them up. He says, that's it. You're going to go back and go to the penalty box for a little while. Both the cars moving back. The crowd is going crazy with this action as Buster Couch has pulled Warren Johnson and Scott Jeffrey back off the starting line, told him to shut the engines off, and is going to have a word with both drivers. Now, this is not the first time this has happened. We have seen it before, and the reasons are primarily psychological. One driver wants to stage last. Well, maybe the other driver wants to stage last as well, and that's what happens when you get into this situation. Now they say, let's start them back up, and we'll try it one more time. Scott knows Warren Johnson, and he knows that the reigning Winston champ likes to stage last. But keep one thing in mind. If one driver stages, that puts the pressure on the other driver. That driver has to stage within a period of time, or the starter will throw the switch. And if the second car isn't in the beams, the red light comes on and he is disqualified. Who knows what's going to happen here? Let's just watch. Who's going to go in first? The motors are at least up off of idle at the moment. It's Warren Johnson going in first. but he got to the finish line last as well as Warren Johnson prevailed with low elapsed time of eliminations, a 7:07 at 196 miles an hour plus. Jeffrion had the quicker reaction time off the starting line. Maybe the starting line wars paid off for the Dodge driver. He got the jump, but Johnson had the power. As they worked their way down the racetrack, the Oldsmobile pulled up alongside, and then at about 1,000 feet, pulled past Scott Jeffrion, and at the finish line, the margin of victory was only 13 thousandths of a second. Oh, so close as Warren Johnson wins the Slick 50 Nationals in certainly one of the most dramatic races we have ever seen. Steve?
I'm sure it was not either of your intentions, but you had this crowd absolutely berserk. We could hear him clear down here.
The kid's just a jerk out there just trying to play his game. You better learn how to drive a race car before he starts playing games like that.
Well, it looked like both of you were playing the game. Anybody can stage at any time.
I don't have to stage last or first. I'll stage when I'm ready.
Warren Johnson wins it. And he's hot.
Well, Scott Jeffrion may have lost the race, but it appears he got to Warren just a little bit as they continue to have words down at the far end of the racetrack. Warren's got the lead, Scott second, Darrell Alderman third in the Winston Point chase. Kurt Johnson rounds out the top four, and Jim Yates is the only one even close to breaking into the top four, and it's going to be tough. We're ready for the finals of Money Car when we come back.